Hello, this is Daniel Mart, and today I'm going to be doing another review. This time around, I'm going to be doing a review for episode 3 of season 2 of iZombie, Real Dead Housewife of Seattle. So, yeah, Real Dead Housewife of Seattle. So, yeah, before I begin, though, 10-second spoiler warning as usual. For those that have yet to actually watch the episode and haven't already, stop the video, go check it out, and come back here and watch the rest of this review. 10-second spoiler warning as usual, starting now. Okay, so 10 seconds are up. So for those who have yet to actually watch the episode and haven't already, please don't comment down below or be messaging me, then I will give you a fair warning because as usual, I did. So as usual, quick synopsis, likes and dislikes, and then the rate. So basically in this episode, we have, during the investigation, we have this rich housewife, who had an affair with Vaughn, and now she is found dead. Liv eats her brains, and now she becomes a housewife, not exactly like one of those really rich housewives. Um, you know, yeah, like the house, yeah, yeah, like Kim Kardashian, basically plastic, cold, cold and plastic, and nobody gives a shit. Most nobody gives a shit. So yeah. I mean, the name of the episode is called "Real Dead Housewife of Seattle," which I guess the show takes place in Seattle. I think they mentioned that at the beginning of the season, the series, like all the way back in season 1, but I just wasn't paying attention. So yeah, but the show takes place in Seattle. That's interesting. Grunge, Nirvana, Jimi Hendrix, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, Alice Cooper. One of those two started there. One of the two Alice's started there in Seattle. I know I had Nirvana and Jimi Hendrix. So yeah, Seattle. I want to visit Seattle one day. Yeah. Well, aside from the point, though, so obviously they're trying to figure out who killed this lady. Her name is Taylor. Motives, etc., etc. The usual procedurals when it comes to crime drama. And yeah, and also we continue on with the overarching backstory where we have Blaine still trying to maximize his utopian empire. Major still hunting. And hunting down zombies that Max Rager has done, and he's basically now having an affair with Gilda or Rebecca or whatever her name is. She has two names. Yeah, I mean she's supposed to be a spy. She's supposed to be spying on Liv, so she changes her name. She tells Liv one name, but her name's another name, so it's pretty interesting. Yeah, because Gilda / Rebecca is Liv's roommate, but she also works for Max Rager. She's the one who found out that Liv's a zombie, etc., etc. So that's interesting. Major and Rebecca or Gilda, whatever her name is, start having an affair. That's interesting. Yeah. For some reason, my first question because you could tell where that scene was going. I was thinking he's a zombie. Is he able to bone or whatever? And then I realized, oh wait, he had the cure, so he's alive. He is able to bone, which is always important for a guy. Yeah, it's always important for a guy. Whatever, but they still continue using the utopium, and it's weird because the way he uses the utopium is almost like cocaine. He kind of snorts it, so yeah. And we also have Peyton, who returns into town, which is Liv's sister, best friend, from the previous season. She's returning to town. She's trying to stop the utopium drug trade, which is interesting because you have Liv who knows about it, Major who's doing it, Max Rager and all that. So that's interesting. That's gonna be interesting. Peyton reunites with Ravi again, kind of, and yeah, basically it. They do figure out who killed the housewife at the end, and yeah, as usual. Again, it's a pretty good episode. I just feel like most of the season so far just feels a bit rushed. Um, and yeah, it's something that I feel like this season is doing more that the previous season didn't do. I feel like they're focusing a bit more on these one-off crimes, like the freak of the week situation, like these crimes. I feel like they're focusing a bit more on the crimes that they have every season, like who got murdered in this episode, who got murdered in this episode. I feel like they're focusing a bit more on that than the overarching story, which for this season will be the utopium trade, Peyton coming into town, trying to stop the utopium trade. Yeah, I feel like they're focusing more on these like one-off crimes, like the one-off murders. In the first episode was the old guy, and in the second episode was the fraternity brother, and now in this episode it's this rich housewife. I feel like they're focusing more on the murders than the actual story that they're trying to build around it. So yeah, I do feel like it is a bit rushed. And some of the storytelling aspects of it, it's still pretty quirky. It's still a pretty quirky show. Um, yeah, that's the best way to describe iZombie. Quirky. It's quirky. Quirky. Yeah, that's basically the best way to describe it. It's fun. It's basically fun. It's fun and quirky. I mean, there's really no other way to describe this show. I mean, I will say like the quality of the second season isn't as good as the first season, and again, that's because of the storytelling perspective. I feel like again they're focusing more on this freak of the week situation, the murders, instead of the overarching backstory that they have throughout the season that they're trying to build. So yeah, I mean, one thing that's interesting, which they kind of touched upon in the first episode, and never really went back on it. Liv should try to go back to her family, not explain the situation, well maybe. I don't know how they'll react to her being a zombie, but maybe she should tell them. Maybe she should tell them. Then again, I am behind on the show, so maybe she has told them by now. But I feel from where I'm at right now, I think she should tell them. They've never really touched upon it, so yeah, I feel like just the storytelling perspective is lacking a bit more than the previous season has. Season 1, I felt like the storytelling perspective of it was a bit stronger. I felt like the overarching story arc was a bit more in the forefront than these Freak of the Week situations. But in the second season, I feel like the Freak of the Week situations are in the forefront, whereas the overarching backstory, took a backseat and it's like the secondary plot. So yeah, overall though, it's still a pretty good episode. It's a pretty good episode, still well acted, well written. There are some fun moments to be had in the show and the episode as a whole. And yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, and 6 being decent, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. A pretty good episode, and yeah, that's basically it for now. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I do movie reviews, TV show reviews, and comic book reviews. Comment down below your thoughts on the episode. Have you seen it? And if not, why not? And if you have, what are your thoughts on it? Comment all that down below. Let me know. Like the video, share on Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, or whatever you guys prefer. And that's basically it for now. This is Daniel Mart, signing off.